Some moments don't make the headlines. Some snapshots don't land the front page. Some stories don't ever go viral. Some messages never get heard. But in spite of the sensational and unbelievable and unprecedented that crowd out the everyday, there are some things that are just story-worthy.
Following Jesus compels us to extend grace to others so that Christ's kingdom may flourish. If our families and our communities are being supported and they are getting what they need to flourish, then our community and Christ's kingdom around us is flourishing.
That is the vision of Grace Church. If you walk into our worship center, you'll see those words emblazoned across the wall at the front of the room as a constant reminder that this is who we are. People compelled by love to spread grace. And yes, that means sharing the gracious good news in our messaging, but it also means being on mission in our community, digging our fingers into the soil and planting seeds of goodness and grace so that the lives of those around us are changed.
We're called to love our neighbors. And we're called to notice and to see what's going on in our community. I think the food pantry is a great way that we are being the hands and feet of Jesus, providing for those families in need. It's us loving our neighbors and our neighbors loving each other.
And so, once a month, usually the third Thursday of the month, a group of exceptional volunteers from Grace Church, the Real Life Center, and other community churches and organizations gather in the back parking lot at Grace and sort produce delivered by the Atlanta Food Bank. These delicious fruits and vegetables are portioned and packaged in stations all around the parking lot so that families can drive through in their cars and have healthy food to supplement what they're able to provide for themselves. Meanwhile, another group of volunteers gets participants registered, answers questions, and serves breakfast while they wait.
People come not just for the food, but there's a lot of people struggling just that are alone. I think people that come are seen and they feel loved while they're here. They come for fellowship. They come for just encouragement. Some of them come with health issues, and it's an opportunity to hear their story and walk beside them. And month after month, we come together and we pray. We're walking through life with them. Food is being shared, life stories are being shared. This is a way to share the gospel.
The Mobile Food Pantry began as an effort of the Real Life Center approximately 15 years ago, but it soon became a joint event due to the heavy involvement and willingness of the Grace Church family and facility. This is Dixie King, the food drive coordinator from the Real Life Center.
I have never done or seen anything like the Mobile Food Pantry before, and it just opened my eyes to what we have going on around us. You know, people in our communities, in surrounding counties, people just really struggling to get by. I remember last year, they were probably in their late 20s. They came in a lowrider car, tinted windows. You could tell they were embarrassed to be there. I went up and I said, "Hi, have you been here before?" And they're like, "No." I took their information and I just said, "Well, welcome, we're glad to have you here." And they were just kind of like, and then by the time they went through and they left with food, we stood out at the end of the parking lot and we waved to them. They left, they rolled their windows down and they were smiling and waving their hands.
There was a lady one time that had lost her keys, and it was in the front parking lot, and everybody around inside the building, it was the families waiting to get the food, were helping her try to find her keys. And eventually they found her keys and she started crying. And somebody said, why are you crying now? We have your keys. And she said, I just have not felt this love. I never knew so many people would care and step up to help me and provide for me. I just see that there's more than just getting food in a month, but there's the journey of walking beside each other and holding each other up and being able to be the light and be able to be the strength and the encouragement of Jesus that some need.
I looked out at the parking lot here and, 150 households, all different walks of life, different countries represented here. And I saw people getting out of their cars, talking to each other. You saw joy on their faces, people who come month after month and they get to know each other. And all of those barriers, those dividing things that you see in the world today are not there. And I'm like, this is the way it should be. It should be, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter, where you come from. We're all working together to serve one another, to love one another. And that's what I see here.
It's not our job to judge. It could easily be me being the one in need, but it's our job to just be the hands and feet of Jesus.
The Mobile Food Pantry is one of those events you have to perceive by layers. The first layer is simple. It's easy to hear about it and say, oh, that's nice. What a wonderful way to help meet the needs of the needy, and then move on with the day. The numbers are impressive sounding and the consistency is a notch on the proverbial belt. But as much as we're recognizing what a vital function it's serving, layer one is a disconnected and somewhat calloused way to look at what Kim, Dixie, and the volunteers are trying to accomplish. Before talking to people more in depth for this story, I was on layer two. I drove into the parking lot for work every month and said, oh yeah, it's Mobile Food Pantry Day, cool. I'm impressed by how packed the parking lot is with cars and make a mental note about how underrated and important this event is. No, really, it's a big deal, I say to myself. I've even served a couple times out back and enjoy the camaraderie and opportunity to get my hands dirty. Specifically turn them orange. Packing carrots is a lot messier than you'd think. But other than a slightly deeper appreciation for the needs in our community, layer two is a lot like layer one. Pretty disconnected, but able to say, hey, at least I've tried to help. But layer three is another story entirely. I see this in people like Kim, Dixie, and the volunteers who are dedicated to this event every month. They know the people who are there. They're picking up on conversations they started the month before, moving with the graceful hospitality that only comes from experience and familiarity, and meeting deep needs that the casual observer like myself would barely take the time to recognize. And the result is a vibrant, lively, loving experience. This event, which could be negatively tainted with the label charity that we often struggle to accept, exudes a surprisingly joyful environment. It's almost a community coffee shop vibe where everyone is so comfortable and connected.
I mean, there's so many organizations in our community that are serving families in our community, but I think what this one offers is sweet connections among the families that come to get food.
They come in and I see some of the same people that come month to month, and I'm getting to know their names and learning a little bit about what's going on in their lives. People who stop and take the time to chat a little bit with us and just being a part of their life. It's a blessing for us as the volunteers, and it's also a blessing to the people who come in here and just start developing relationships with people who care.
Our desire was to love our neighbors and to be present in the community. And so it was an opportunity for us to invite the community onto our campus and to serve them every month. But I think it's been a great gift for us to have and be able to host the Mobile Food Pantry. It's a great way to disciple us. I walk away every Thursday being so grateful for how God's given us the opportunity to just be generous, to be hospitable, to be able to love. And I thank God that I get to hear those stories and be a witness to what He's doing in the lives of others, to the volunteers that come. It's a blessing and a gift to see the hands and feet of Jesus just to come together and work together. But I also see the goodness that's happening in the lives of my friends in this community. I would have never have gotten to hear some of those stories. I would have never have gotten to be able to do what I do if we weren't hosting the food pantry and if we weren't able to have the resources to be able to provide. I see it's making a difference, and it's a sweet gift. We want to be the hands and feet of Jesus. We want to be a place of refuge for those that might need it. We want to be that gift to the community, but also to be able to give the love of Jesus.
The mobile food pantry is that spot in the corner of the museum that houses your favorite painting. It's a little out of the way, and so not many people see it. If they do stumble in, they say, "Oh, what a nice painting," but quickly move on to the bigger, better lit sections of the museum. But if you go and sit and look at it for a while, thinking about what went into making it what it is, it becomes more and more beautiful the longer you look. You really ought to check it out.
Good to see you.